The Glennmare Girls, a novel by Anya Mora, narrated by Eric Fox, Adam James Connor, Abigail Reno, Tara Novi, and Casey Combest.
Chapter 1. Freddie. The ferry was a downright disaster. Late due to fog. Every day, the boat moves across the same stretch of water on the hour every hour, yet the weather keeps us from getting there in a timely manner. I'm finally on the island. The great island Wells loves for some ungodly reason. I mean, for Christ's sakes, it's in the middle of nowhere. The few times we spoke after he moved out west, before he began only responding to letters, he sounded less and less like himself, more and more like a ghost. Like the Wells I met freshman year at Yale, when he was still stuck in his horrific past and hadn't yet learned to live with the elite. He moved to this wilderness to get himself turned around. Now, he's more lost than ever. It's his memories that are missing, though, not his mind. Thank God for that. Wells is a brilliant asshole who, for a long time, made my life bearable just by being in it. Tippy's, too. My phone buzzes and I move to answer it. One hand on the wheel of the rental car, the other finding speakerphone. Hello? Freddie, where are you? Tippy. My heart both constricts and expands. Nearly there. I'm searching for a street sign. Finding instead a private road with signage for Glennmare Academy on the left, I turn. Coming onto the property now, I say, but the call is dropped. Tippy is gone and I am left alone, in the dark. I flick the bright headlights on and the pavement beneath the vehicle is finally visible. It's dark, nearly 9 at night. But the large expanse of the academy is before me, at the end of a long tree-lined driveway. The silhouette of Glennmare is one of the reasons wealthy parents send their daughters here. It's impressive, even to me, a man who grew up in Manhattan, with its skyline that people dream of all their lives. Glennmare is an estate you would expect to find in the English countryside, but it was never owned by a duke or lord. Instead, it was designed and built by Henry Ellis, a steel tycoon who came into his fortune before the Great Depression. After he died, the property was purchased by a minted Luddite couple, who had the idea of creating a school for young girls to learn and explore nature, without modernity getting in the way. Over time, the school became more prestigious as the finest teachers were hired. Soon, unruly daughters of affluent East Coast families were exiled to the island. At least, this is what the Wikipedia page told me. I read up on this place while waiting at JFK, wishing that Tippy and I could fly here together. I was in Manhattan when I got word of Wells's fall. She was at a writer's retreat on the windy shores of Oregon, where she was working on her novel. She's been working on her novel for years, and I don't think she is past the 3rd chapter. But I never comment on it. It is her project, and I love her, despite the many reasons I cannot stand her. She has been my best friend since we were 16. She is also my stepsister. I drive past the large, looming academy, beyond the horse stables, and park in front of a tidy row of half a dozen cobblestone cottages. After getting out of the car, I reach for my luggage in the trunk. Porch lights illuminate each cottage, and I look for his address, Hollyhock. All of them are named after indigenous flowers. This has been Wells's home for the last 6 months. I can't help but fear what he remembers.
Chapter 2. Wells. I would tell you my story, if I could remember it. I've been told that yesterday I fell off a horse. I woke in a hospital bed with no memories of the last 6 months. Now back home, in a cottage I can't remember moving into, I'm trying to piece my world together. Wells, are you even listening? Tippy's voice is tight, her eyes like the sea, dark blue enough to drown in. She holds a pill bottle and a glass of water. My bedroom is dim, but she's a bright light. Even after everything, I'm grateful she is here. I'm listening. I try to appease her. She's flown to be at my bedside, and the last thing I want is to hurt her more than I already have. Freddie is on his way, she says, handing me the medicine. He's quite upset. With me? I sit up, instantly regretting it. Ribs broken, mind shattered. Everything hurts. Without my recent memories, I am nothing but a shell. Who am I now? You? God, no. Here, drink this. She presses the glass into my hand, waits for me to sip, and then sits on the bed, her hand cupping my cheek. Freddie is upset because his best friend nearly died and can't remember a thing about the last 6 months. You never should have moved to this island. It's nothing like home. I needed a change. We needed a change, I tell her, remembering that bit at least. Everything from before September is clear in my mind. I remember being hired over the phone by Duncan Wright, the headmaster at the Glennmare Academy. I remember leaving Connecticut and moving to the rugged terrain that spans the beaches, hills, and farmland of Whidbey, an island planted in the deep waters of the Puget Sound, a stretch of land 10 miles across and 37 miles long, 90 minutes from Seattle. It's a beautiful place, but it was the horses at the academy that won me over. The stables are a sentimental nod to my childhood, one I was so removed from for so long. I never wanted to return to my uncle's dusty barn, instead wanting a grander life. Maybe that is where I went wrong. Maybe it is the only place I really belonged. Coming here felt like I was returning to forgotten parts of myself. Of course, I also chose to accept this teaching position because I needed space from Tippy and Frederick. It was time I carved a life for myself, separate from them. But whatever I've carved here doesn't seem good. I wish I knew what caused the trouble I'm in now. Because there is trouble. Tippy has said as much. The police are waiting to question me. The headmaster has scheduled a meeting. A girl is missing. And I can't remember anything.
Chapter 3. Johanna. While I am the cook at this academy, I also pride myself on tidying up after the day's work is done. Dusting, sweeping, anything to let me take full advantage of the quiet. After all, the evening hours, when the girls are all in their rooms for the night, are the perfect time to listen in. And they need me to listen in, to look after them. There are no mothers here, no one to guide them in this world. And though I wouldn't tell a soul, they are what keep me alive. After losing my daughter, I moved here and lost myself in them, in their lives. The portrait-lined halls are empty and still, each bed filled with a teenage girl who wears ribbons in her hair. A nod to innocence I am not so naive as to believe they hold. They are high school girls, the ones who come here, and they arrive at the island after they have burned bridges elsewhere. Though it isn't a school for troubled girls per se, the ones who arrive on this wind-blown island are trying to run from something. Growing up is hard no matter where you come from. And these girls, all of them, come from money. Fires blaze beneath the mantels. We need every fireplace lit on a February night like this when the power is out. Everything has been on the fritz the last 24 hours, and it's all because of him. I know he has something to do with this mess. Not the power going out. He isn't